How are you guys? So first of all, thank you all for being here. My name is Aaron Keith. I'm going to be leading the workshop today. So I know there's a lot you guys could be doing right now, so really thank you for spending the time to be here for the next 45 minutes. We have a lot to cover, so I'm going to move at a little bit of a quick pace. Is that okay with you? Yes? Okay. I want to make sure you guys get a lot of value out of the time we have, so I'm going to move at a decent pace, give a lot of time for questions so we can really get into stuff that applies to you personally. Quick little piece of context just so you guys know who I am. There's some strangers talking to you right now. Again, my name is Aaron Keith. I started my first company when I was 19 years old. I later sold that company when I was 26. My coaching company's been around for over 15 years. I've coached well over 5,000 companies around the world. On an average week, I work with about 60 to 65 companies. Now, I'm not a real estate business coach. I don't specialize in real estate, so you are going to hear some unique points because of that. I do work with a lot of real estate agents from all over the country, a lot of DE agents as well. Any questions about me, or shall we move on? All right, let's go. Today's all about systems. So let's start with it. What is a system, guys? How do you guys define a system? Something that works. Okay, good. What else? What's that? The infrastructure. Say it again. It's repetitive. Yes, like that. In the front, yeah. Habit. Good. Process. Yeah. So a system is something that's it's a process. It's a procedure, and it's documented. And not just that it's documented, but that you've trained the other people in your organization on your team how to do it. That's important because a lot of you want to do things a certain way. You want your people doing things a certain way, and they're not doing it your way because it's in your head. It lives in your head. A lot of you have some really amazing systems, processes, procedures that are in your head that you haven't trained your staff on. You haven't documented the process. So I just want to get that out on the table because as we talk today, I'm going to be relating to this as things need to be written and your staff has to be trained in it to actually call it a true system. Clear? Outstanding. How do we know when a system is missing? How do you know when a system is missing? Things start falling apart. How do you know if something's missing? Nothing gets done. Good. By the way, this is a full contact conversation. How do you know if a system's missing?
Things are unpredictable.
Unpredictable. Yes. Perfectly said so far. When anything in your business is inconsistent, a system is either missing or the system that is in existence is breaking down. Make sense? Okay. Any questions on what a system is or why it needs to be in place? All right, this is my cheat sheet, so I'm going to be referencing my cheat sheet. The first one I want to talk about today is going to be an operations manual. What's an operation manual? Anyone know? How to. Okay, good. What else? What's an operation manual? Stephen Kotler.
Not there.
No, that's not the right answer.
An operations manual, I think it's a roadmap for how you want to run your business.
Perfect. It's a roadmap for how you want to run your business. What's that? That's the perfect answer. So in your business, depending on how big your team is, or if it's just you or just you and your assistant, depends on how many manuals you should probably have. Normally in a mid-size or a larger team, I'm going to recommend probably 3 manuals. One's going to be your operation manual. That's front office. That's admin. Second manual is going to be marketing. You want a marketing manual that completely has every piece of marketing in it, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. We'll actually dive into marketing plans today. Then you usually have an agent manual. So for those of you who have a team, how many of you have a team? Show of hands so I can get present to that. Okay, great. So for those of you who have teams, you do want a manual for your agents. So that, again, your expectations of your agents, how you need them doing things is all documented and captured. Clear? So why have an operation manual?
So I can go on vacation and things could keep flowing and running without me being there.
So he can go on vacation and things keep flowing and going the way he wants them to go. on a good year? What's that? For accountability, absolutely. Your ops manual is exactly that. It has your team, your staff, all the people who work with you be accountable to doing things the way you design them to be. It's the only way you're going to hold people accountable is that everyone's following a centralized system or process. It allows you to scale. You all want to get really interested in operation manuals. It allows your company to scale. How fun is it for those of you who have admin and other people working with you when someone leaves? How fun is that to replace somebody? Yeah, it's not. But when you have an operation manual, it acts as your training guide for the new staff member. Say you leave, we hire her. She has the operation manual. She can train herself on how to do something. How many have, who wants more phone calls in a day? I've seen your phones. It's insane. Right. A lot of times when you hire new staff members, they're on you. They're calling you, texting you, asking you questions. Your ops manual is going to be a resource for them that they can turn to get their questions answered. So they're not constantly interacting with you. It's a huge resource for people. So let's open this up to questions. What questions do you guys have around operation manuals and systems like that? Stephen?
How does somebody write an operations manual if they've never written one?
Excellent question. Here's what I'd recommend you do. Very first step, write down on a piece of paper or type it up on a Word document every single thing that happens in that department. Everything. So, backstory. I own more than just one company. I also own a concierge medical clinic in San Diego. And I have a staff of 10, and we're cash only, so it's a very, very personalized company. High-end clientele, so things have to be perfect. My operation manual for my admin is 111 pages right now. And it documents everything. So if you walked into my clinic right now, I could tell you exactly how it would smell. It's 5 drops of lavender, 5 drops of eucalyptus in the diffusers every 3 hours. I can tell you exactly how you're going to be greeted. And they're going to ask you what cup of coffee you're going to want because we have 3 different kinds of coffee. Every single experience you're going to have in my clinic is documented in the operation manual. And how we did that is we literally walked through the door with a pad of paper and stood there and wrote down, great, what has to happen here? Wrote it down. Front desk, what has to happen when you meet the front desk? When you're shown around the clinic. You're literally going to go step by step through your business and write down everything from answering phones, checking voicemails, checking emails, logging into something. All of it would get written down on a piece of paper. Once you have that, you prioritize it, and that becomes your table of contents. This is important. Your table of contents is the top of your operation manual. The table of contents, just kind of like when you open up a book, table of contents, it lists every system that will exist in the ops manual. Is that part clear so far? Any confusion? Great. So once we have that down, then you can take your time having the staff member document how that should be done. They can just go line by line by line. A lot of operation manuals will take 6 weeks, maybe 2 months, depending on the size of the business. But if your person is working on it a little bit each day, even if it's just 30 minutes, they can knock that thing out in 6 weeks. Because some of these systems, how to transfer a phone call, how to check voicemail, you can document that in 3 minutes typing, right? Some of these systems are very quick. So once you have that documented, my recommendation for you, there's some really great ways of capturing data on operation manuals. Screen shares. If you can take photos of your screen on different steps of a process, upload that or move those photos into your operation manual, now it's visual. Very fast for your staff to learn when things are visual. So our operation manual is so long, 111 pages, because it's text, video, or text, image. That allows my staff to get things very, very rapidly. Make sense? What else? What other questions do we have around operation manuals? Yeah?
You're discussing it more from a team standpoint. What if you're not a team?
Sure.
So how would you put an operation? Oh, I thought I was talking about. Hi, sorry. How would you put an operations manual together if you're just an individual?
Just an individual?
Yes.
Great question. So I wouldn't do an operation manual per se if you're just a solo agent. What I would do is a daily, weekly, and monthly checklist. That is your version of what you should be doing consistently and how it should be done. But at this point, if it's in your head, as a solo agent, I wouldn't say it's okay, but it's workable. Ideally, I want you documenting those structures. So do you want to have an admin at some point? Oh, okay, great. Some people, I have a few clients who, they don't want that. If you do want to grow to have an admin, this is your opportunity to do a brain dump. Get it out of your head on a document. And again, you can take your time. You're not hiring an admin tomorrow. But your daily, weekly, and monthly checklist is going to be your structure for how it's going to move you through your week. Yeah. Does that make sense, everybody? Any confusion? What are the questions we have on operation manuals? All right, ready to move on to the next one? Ooh, this is my favorite one today. Marketing plans. How many of you have a written marketing plan? Hands, nice and tall. I want to see this. How many of you do not have a written marketing plan? Okay, that didn't add up. How many of you are not going to raise your hand no matter what the hell I ask you? Awesome. All right, we need a marketing plan, everybody. I don't care if you're a solo agent or a team of 30. You have to have a written marketing plan. Why do we need a written marketing plan? You know your budget? Hold that thought. We're going to mic you real quick. Brilliant. Go ahead and say that one more time. Sorry.
Okay, the budget, you need a marketing plan so it could fit in with your budget, and also you need to know, well, if you have a customer, how are you going to get that customer? So you need a plan of where you're going to market to get that customer.
Correct. Yes, well said. Your marketing plan is going to be the structure that's going to generate you the volume of leads that you said you needed to hit your sales goal. Doesn't that seem to make some sense? If you guys want to hit a sales goal in 2017, because 2017 starts in a couple days, November 1, technically, for real estate agents. So if you really want to hit your goal, but you have no plan in place, it makes no sense, right? So if we have a marketing plan, we should trust, we should believe in that plan, that plan is honestly going to generate us enough prospects, enough leads, get us enough appointments that we can close a volume of transactions that we need. You guys get that? So you must. I'm just telling you, I'm giving you coaching. I know no one asked for it. I'm giving you an assignment. This is due in 2 weeks. Everyone should have a written marketing plan in place. Now let's evolve the conversation a little bit more. I would recommend that your written marketing plan be broken up by month. So you can list all the actions that you want to take over the course of the year. And then simply select what month should I be doing that. So example, let's say you want to call your top tier clients. How often do you think you guys should call your top tier clients? Weekly? So let me be more clear. Call the same client. You wouldn't call the same client every week. So how often would you call your top tier client? How frequently would you call that person? Okay, we had quarterly. What else? Any others? Monthly? Bi-weekly? That'd probably be a little stalkerish. Probably can't do bi-weekly. Once a quarter, once a month, every 60 days, anything in there kind of works. It depends on you and your business model. But for a lot of people who have some high-end clientele, once a quarter is usually sufficient. It depends. My personal preference is 60 to 90 days. I think once a month could be a little much because it's not usually scalable as your business gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It's great if your business is small, you can definitely do that. Okay, that makes sense? Any questions on that? Shoot. Phone call. In this example, I mean phone call.
I apologize. It was voice-to-voice or cards and mailing, but thank you for that voice-to-voice answer.
Yeah, the voice-to-voice is going to work the best. So on your marketing plan, you would actually see that. Your line item would be phone calls to your top-tier clients, and you would simply notate what month you're going to do that so you're accountable. So one of the things that we like to talk about with a lot of my clients is mindset. What's the mindset advantage of having a marketing plan? Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
It creates consistency. It's a visual reinforcement so you can track your efforts in your business. You
Yeah.
can scale your business.
You said it perfectly. It creates consistency. See, I'm going to be a little direct, and I'm going to make an assertion here. This may not apply to everyone, but it applies to many of you. A lot of you, when you're really, really busy with clients, you stop marketing. You have a really great excuse around why you're not marketing. And some of my clients that are sitting in here know that are looking at their phones right now. It works really well to have a structure that's going to mentally engage you and hold you accountable so you market every month. Not just when you're low on clients, you're like, holy crap, pipeline's looking really bad. I need to get some leads going in here, and you start marketing again. Many of you market emotionally. You do what you feel like doing. I don't care how you feel. I care that you do what you said you're going to do to grow your company. So it's an opportunity for you as a business owner to sit down and consciously choose at the beginning of your year, what marketing am I going to do that I know is going to scale my company and grow it? Make sense? Yes? And when you sit down and you do it consciously, deliberately, and then you start to follow it month after month after month, you're going to watch your business dramatically grow. This structure is one of the, hands down, the biggest structures you can put in place, and it's easy. So let's fast forward. You've built your marketing calendar, your marketing plan. You know what actions you're going to take. You know when you're going to take them. Then they need to go into the... Yes, and the calendar. It has to go in your calendar, guys. If I open up any of your calendars right now, because everything's on your phones these days, I should see marketing and lead generation time in your calendar, right? And it should be reoccurred over time. Because if I look at your marketing calendar, it's going to tell me exactly how much time it's going to take to do all those actions every month. I can actually total that up. And I can look at your calendar. It should be in there. So if you honor your calendar and you honor your marketing plan, your businesses will grow. I can't promise you how much, but your businesses will absolutely grow. So what questions do you guys have around marketing plans? Really? Okay. Oh, wait, we do have one.
Is there a template that we could follow?
We would have to ask DE about that.
Okay.
But I'm sure we can get something created. Yeah. Yeah, in the back.
Sure. How specific should the marketing plan be?
Very.
What does it delve into?
Very, very specific. I'll see if I can paint more of an example. And tell me if this answers the question or not. It'd be an easy example. Let's do social media since it's a hot topic these days. In the marketing plan, you would break down all your social media channels, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever you're using, and how often you're posting, and what the content of that post should be. So let's say you're, this is more my wheelhouse, I'm going to go with this. Let's say you're wanting to market a little bit higher end. I would want to see on your social media posts, or your social media calendar, all right, on Mondays, I'm always going to do a lifestyle piece. On Wednesdays, I'm always going to do something that's market related. On Saturdays, I'm always going to do something related to such and such. So that way, you've consciously determined that these are the style posts that I need to do that match the brand that I'm trying to build, and this is the frequency that I need to do them so that my customer base is starting to stay in front of me. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Awesome. Stephen.
Aaron, how do agents determine what's effective? If you have all these different choices and they're putting it all out there, how do they measure it, and how should they know what they should stay with and maybe what they should move away from?
Excellent question. So this question actually brings us into the next system I want to talk about. So I'm gonna bring another system into this conversation, okay? The next system I want to talk about is something that I call a KPI dashboard, Key Performance Indicator Dashboard. We all have cars. On the dash of your car, it says all the vital signs of your car. Are we low on gas? How fast are we going? RPMs, has all these things, the vital signs. Many of you are running your business without any vital signs. You're running it a little blind. Again, I've coached hundreds and hundreds of real estate agents over the years. I can say with certainty, most of you do not know your statistics to the degree that you need to. Need to grow, right? So if we have a KPI dashboard, a very simple dashboard, this does not have to be complex. Most of the dashboards I use are in Excel. And if we have an Excel dashboard that either you and or your staff fill in for you every week and turn into you, you now run your business consciously. You can actually start to track where your leads are coming from. You can track your spend. If I'm spending a lot of money buying, Zillow ads, is that actually giving me an ROI? And if it is, what is my ROI on that? You're tracking it. And you can see if the time that you're spending is producing the lead flow that it needs to. Is it the money I'm spending creating the lead flow that it needs to? Did that answer that? Yeah? Anyone else have a question? Yeah. Sure.
If we could go back to the business plan, I've been a realtor for about 24 years, a top producer in my neck of the woods for the past 10 years.
Great.
And I have yet to have anybody show me, and I don't know if there are other agents here as well, actually how to do a business plan, how to lay out a business plan. It really, I hear it all the time at seminars, your business plan, but every time I've asked for a business plan, I've never seen one.
Agreed.
So I just base it on last year, how many listings, what I did last year, what I want to do this year, what I'm going to do with the marketing. But I've never actually seen a business plan.
Yeah.
Can you?
I've never written one.
Okay.
I don't know. I do something called a functional business plan. It's not like from my development and training, there's two kinds of business plans that I've been been exposed to. One kind of business plan is for the bank when you need to get a loan. It's a very complex, detailed chunk of information that you'll never use. And then there's a functional business plan. A functional business plan in my world are the following. And you guys should pay attention to what I'm about to say for this and write it down. Why? Because this is what you follow when you're doing your annual planning. And you're all supposed to be doing your annual planning right now because your year starts in like 5 days. So when I do my functional business plan, I start with my sales goals. What are the sales goals and just general goals of my company? And then I do a sales timeline. I timeline out my sales projections for the year. Next, I build my budget, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. The budget has to be in place so we know how we're going to manage our money, how much it's going to cost to build the company. Then I do a staffing configuration so I know what kind of staff I need to run this company. Then I need a marketing plan so I know I'm going to market the company. Then there's all the tracking. So the KPI dashboard is one of many things, but we need tracking documents to track leads, track what's producing results. So without getting into a really long conversation, that is how I build most of my companies, are using documents like that. I probably have 8 to 10 documents that make up my functional business plan. Because, guys, let's be real. If you're not going to use it, does it make any sense? No. So sure, you could do some really cool, complex things about studying who your target market is and their demographic and their psychographic. Yeah, go ahead, do that. But if you're not going to follow it, you're wasting your time and money. Make this thing functional. If it's not functional, you guys are not going to use it. I'm only talking about systems today that I think are foundational, that actually function and produce you results now. Did that answer your question? Yeah, great, thanks. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. All right, we're going to talk about budgets unless you guys have any other questions on the KPI dashboard. So anything else on the KPI dashboard right now? Okay. You guys ready to talk about budgets? This is going to be a slam dunk. Watch the hands in this run. How many of you have a budget? Come on, get them up. Cool. How many of you do not have a budget? All right. So those of you who have a budget, hands back, sorry, I just want to see this. Those of you who have a budget, how many of you actually follow it? And the hands dwindle. Right. So how do you guys relate to a budget? What's your relationship to a budget? Sorry, we need a mic before she answers this. Please hold. Well, we got a mic coming your way. So how do you relate to a
I
budget?
assign a percentage compared to my sales the year before.
Okay, got it. How else? How else do you guys relate to budgets? How do you think of them?
Return on my investment.
Return on my investment? Okay, good. So pretty empowering so far. Your budget is a physical existence system for the things in your life that matter to you. Take that in for a second. It's a physical existence system that really captures all the things in your life that matter to you. So if it matters to you, it should be in your budget. How many of you are interested in retiring at a decent age? Hands? Everyone's hand should be in the air, FYI. Free coaching. Right, that should be in your budget. How many of you really want to travel a lot? Yeah, that should be in your budget. If you have kids, you want to put them through college, that should be in your budget. Your budget should capture all the things that are passionate for you. If your budget is not accurate, your sales goal can't be accurate. If your sales goal is not accurate, then you're working really hard and building a marketing plan around something that's going to miss the target ultimately. You guys got that? So what are some of the questions you have around budgeting? Yeah, hold on real quick.
Should you use a budget based upon where you are in a dollar amount or based upon a percentage of what your gross is?
I think it should be based around what you're committed to. I know that didn't answer your question, so I'll elaborate. When I'm building out a budget, I can build out a budget based on my current expenses today. It's fair, right? I could base it around where I think my company is going to go as well. Ultimately, you guys are going to follow the budget that you're committed to. If I tell you to put $4,000 a month towards savings, and all you care about right now in your life is travel, you're not going to fund it. There's no point in building a really pretty budget that you have no commitment to following. I just want you to be authentic about it. Just be real. Put things in your budget that you're committed to. It's the only way you're going to follow it. It's the only way you're going to adhere to it and stick to it. Don't lie to yourself. It's your budget. Now let me check in. Did that answer your question, though?
Sure.
So,
but I mean, if you're really committed to doing this and you want to have the budget, if you're grossing $350, should you say, okay, I'm going to put 10% aside, or should you say that I want to do, $18,000 for the year?
good question.
But then if your business grows,
Up it.
how often do you change it, or
Yeah.
are you better off just using the percentage then?
Right. I don't like percentages. I just don't. When you really do a big budget, like a full-blown budget, you're going to have so many light items on there, you're not going to be able to percentage everything out. It's just not going to compute. When it comes to savings, savings is a very unique item because it has to do with retirement, having emergency money. There's a lot of thought that goes into that. So the way I usually look at budgeting, to be really specific about your question, is what are you reliable for making? So let's say you're reliable for making $20,000 a month. Like you're reliable for that. I would have your budget be probably $18,000. I'd have it be a little under what you're reliable for bringing in every single month, so that you don't have any fear around your budget. So a lot of people, their budget is, for a lot of people that I see, and I see hundreds and hundreds of budgets a month. And it doesn't matter how much you make. I have millionaires that are barely paying their bills because their bills are as high as all the money they make. So you have to have a budget that, to me, is under your reliable amount of money for making and earning. That way you have some peace of mind and you can adhere to it. It's consistent, right? Because the more you follow your budget, you're building brain patterns. You're building a strong relationship to your money. And when you have good integrity around your money, you can have more money. A lot of people aren't making the amount of money they're making in their sales business because the integrity that they have around their money is insufficient. Does that make sense? And I run finance courses, so I've seen this time after time, and I've experienced it with my finance coach. When we put the integrity in around our money, it gives us the ability to make more money. It expands your capacity. If you don't have the capacity to do millions of dollars a year in sales, you're not going to make millions of dollars. Having a budget increases your financial IQ. It increases your financial capacity as a business owner. And the bigger your capacity could be, creates the integrity for you to have more of it. Does that make sense? Yeah? Please. Hold the thought. Let's get you a mic.
So, one of the things I'm looking to do is to commit a certain amount of my money towards a budget for next year. But what always holds me back, at least, is where am I going to truly see return on investment? Because there's a lot of ad tech out there, and a lot of it just doesn't actually result in a good return.
Agreed.
So what would you suggest of some of the tried and true kind of, dipping your toe in the water? Because if you go in too small, you're not going to see any return. If you go in too big, well, you're just not going to want to do that without some sort of proof first.
And you say go in, you're talking financially spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
Totally clear. Okay, good. Great question. So your question, to be clear, is that what are some of the tried and true methods? Okay. Me personally, there's different theories out there, so I can only speak for what I've done and my belief system and my belief structure. The way I coach clients is more word of mouth. I think relationships will always stand the test of time. The internet is something that's also changing and altering. So I think there's a time and a place, and I think it's an important part of the overall system. But I think foundationally, it's relationships. And again, this is just my belief system, so if this doesn't align to you, you can discard. How real estate gets done, I think, is because it's a community. A real estate agent, way back in the day, was someone who just knew everybody, knew what was happening in the town, and they're really good connectors. They could just put it all together. They're very social. And I don't think that's ever going to change. I think ultimately, when you want to make one of the largest investments in your life, you're probably going to trust your friend over the internet. I think that's always going to be that way. So I think it's inexpensive, if not free. Building relationships doesn't cost you anything. It requires time. But when the economy changes and the internet changes or your pocketbook changes and you don't have as much money to spend on other things, relationships are always there. A cup of coffee is still a cup of coffee. Spending your time and some of your money building relationships is very sustainable marketing. The ROI and the ROT, return on investment, return on time, very valuable. So I can get into like a whole lot about that. I'm just going to keep it, just for the sake of time, short. But there's a lot of actions. So, sorry, under the umbrella of word-of-mouth marketing, there's a lot of actions. Phone calls, notes, events. There's a million things that you can do there. Make sense? That's, right now, the best return on your time and money that you can. Once you get your relationships in your business really dialed in, then go to the internet, then go to social media, go to all these other things. Not that you can't, you have to ignore them completely, but I wouldn't go spend a lot of money in those areas until that area is really dialed in. Does that make sense, everybody? Does that click? All right, great. All right, checking time here. Okay, let's talk business day. Business day, I mentioned this a little bit yesterday for those of you who are in the room. I'm going to get a little amplified on this one because I'm really passionate about this. Your business day. You guys have a business. You have a sales business. A lot of you are spending way too much time being real estate agents. To be blunt, I don't think you're a real estate agent. I think you're a business owner. I think what you do is you sell real estate. That's not who you are. You're a business owner, and a lot of you are not spending time working on your businesses. You're working in them, doing transactions day in and day out. If you worked on your business, you would make more money. Your business would run smoother. Who's read The E-Myth by Michael Gerber? Really? All right, everyone write this down. Pens out. The E-Myth. E stands for entrepreneur. So The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. This is like the business Bible. If you have a business, you must read this. Or you're not allowed to be a business owner until you read it. What's that? Myth. Sorry, E-Myth. Gerber. It's been around since probably before I was born. It is an outstanding book. I think he sold well over 50 million copies. Not as many as Martha Stewart, but. This book is outstanding. Please read it. There's another book, if you want to read after, called Traction. I don't know the author off the top of my head. I apologize. If you Google Traction, it's a black book with a car tire going across it. It's the E-Myth advanced version. So read it second. All right, so back to focus. Working on your business. What should your business day look like? Any ideas? What's that? Oh, who said it? Oh, we're back here. Hold on. Our mic's coming.
Making appointments.
Making appointments. Okay, good. What else? What else should be on your business day?
Review your daily goals and objectives.
Reviewing your daily goals and objectives. Excellent. I heard networking over here. Good. Calling your sphere of influence. Good. What else?
Lead generation.
Lead generation. Absolutely. Having a schedule. Good. So on your business day, you'd be following the schedule or working on your schedule. Okay, fair, good. What else? Meeting with clients? New. This is your business day. This is when you could work on your business. No clients. Follow-ups on what? Yep, okay, so we'll pull that in the lead generation category. Correct. We'll put that in the lead category, yeah. Making your to-do list and sticking to it, absolutely. So your business day, depending on how much you personally have to do, how big your company is probably between 4 to 6 hours for most of you. Keep in mind, guys, you're doing this stuff anyway. You're just jamming it in random places on random days on random weeks. Y'all have to pay bills. Y'all have to market. A lot of this stuff you're doing anyway. You're just doing it randomly late at night when you're tired and you're doing a poor job executing sometimes. It's really important if you have a day or a chunk of a day set aside for you to grow your business. If you want to grow, you got to spend time on it. Are relationships easy, guys? Is having a relationship easy? No. Do you need to spend time working on your relationships? Yes. Is having a fit, healthy body easy? No. You have to work on it. The things in life that matter take time. If your business matters to you, it takes time. So if you're going to work on your relationships and work on your body and work on your money, you need to work on your business. If it matters to you, it should be in the calendar. Clear? So some of the things that I would have on my business day if I was you, I'd have a chunk of time for paying bills and managing finances. Finances is a really big deal. And this has been said, but lead generation and marketing. I'd have a chunk of my day dedicated to the strategy and planning of my business. What marketing is happening this week? What's the content going out? What are our statistics from last week or last month? And I think for me anyway, the most exciting part of my business day is only 30 minutes. And it's my strategy and planning time. It's when I look at my goals and I look at my actual. How did I actually do in relation to my goals? Really important. What are my numbers? How much has come in this month? What's my budget? How much have I spent? I'm actually dealing with the reality of my numbers. Why is that so freaking important? Accountability, yeah. How do I want to say this? I can talk to you about systems all day long. And systems are great. They're very, very needed in business. They make things consistent. But ultimately, this comes down to mindset. You have the best systems in the world, but ultimately, this comes down to mindset. You have to fucking want it. You do. And when you deal with your strategy and planning time, it confronts something for you. You get confronted by the reality of what you said you wanted. And when you're sitting there looking at your numbers, and you can see that you're not hitting your goal, it should fucking light you up. And it's that oomph that you take out there, and you take with your team, and you go and you crush it. I can always tell within minutes of meeting someone how successful they are. You can see the fire and the passion. It's just present. We can get all the top producers up on the stage, and you can see it in them. They're driven. There's a drive. All of you can create that. One of the easiest ways to create your drive and your oomph is to get present to your numbers and why you want those numbers. Any questions about that? No? Does this leave you speechless? Come on. All right, we only have a few more minutes, so I want to just open up the floor completely for questions in general, systems or otherwise. What do we have? Hold on, let me get you Michaela.
Okay, this is very basic, but what kind of like Excel spreadsheets did you set up?
Sales spreadsheets?
Excel?
Oh, Excel spreadsheets.
What kind and like how would you, what topics? Because you said you were managing,
Sure.
keeping track of things, but could you be more specific?
Sure. You mean like what KPIs should be on the Excel spreadsheet? Yeah? So I would track lead flow. I'd want to know how many leads came in relationship to the target. So everything on a KPI dashboard is a actual versus target, everything. So from the top down, I want to know what your sales goal is to your sales actual. I want to know how many appointments you went on compared to your appointment goal. I want to know how many leads came in relationship to your lead goal. And I want to know some marketing stats. What was your open rate of your newsletter? How many followers did we add to our social media campaigns this week? Literally anything that you think matters to you that's going to help you measure if your business is doing well or not should be on there. So for some of you, if customer satisfaction is a big deal to you, great, put that on there. How many reviews did we get this week on Zillow? How many Yelp reviews did we get? That matters to you. How many unhappy customers or complaints did we get this week? You can track that as well. Anything that matters to you so you can intelligently run your company should be on there. So it could be 3 things, it could be 30 things. It's your dashboard. You want to customize it for what matters to you. Did that answer your question? Great. Yeah?
What do you think about skill training, like preparing for an appointment, training in your dialogues, training how you do, like your sales skills, and then what time of day would you recommend doing that?
So can you clarify the first part of your question? Like, what do you mean?
Like practicing, role-playing, going over your comparative market analysis, presentation,
Sure.
what you say, how you say it, what you're presenting, upgrading it, defining it, all that kind of stuff. And then what time of day do you do that?
So yes, you should do that. Is that your question? Like yes, no? It's a yes question. When would you do it? I wouldn't do it at night just because you're not going to be very present. And your memory's not going to be as good either. So this is going to sound really weird to some of you, or probably maybe a lot of you. If you're trying to memorize a script or a process and you have to deliver it, actors do this, they deliver it in the mirror. It's called mirror work. I was doing it this morning in the bathroom before this. It's a really great way of getting and kind of embodying your script or your conversation. Another way to do it, you have a team, correct? Do it in front of your team. I would rent the boardroom for a couple hours, get your entire team in there, and round robin. All right, John, you're up. Lead us through the sales pitch. Go. All right, Susie, you're next. Get up there. And I would round robin, and I would debrief. Here's what worked. Here's what didn't work. Right? Because there's certain things that we do that work. And we got to acknowledge that. Certain things that didn't work. We got to acknowledge that. And I would round robin it, including you. And that way you can all debrief and learn and see where are our skills here? Where do we need to improve as a team? Because remember, you listen to things the way you listen to things. She listens to things different than she listens to things. We all listen differently, right? So your whole team is going to hear different things that you're not hearing, and vice versa. Brilliant way of getting information. Brilliant. Costs you nothing. Did that answer your question? Great. Oh, I didn't answer the time of day. I just wouldn't do it later in the day. Usually later in the day, people are less present, more emails, cell phones going crazy. Morning, midday is usually before noon. Good. Anything that's confronting, do before noon. Finances, do it in the morning. Just get it out of the way. What else? What other questions do we have? Yeah. He'll grab you.
When it comes to database management, there are different school of thoughts on this. Do you have any platforms that you can recommend or suggest?
See me at the end. I can give you some suggestions. Unfortunately, I haven't seen any platforms that are perfect. I don't have any real estate agents that I have coached or do coach that love their database. I keep hearing from people, they like this part of this one, this part of that one. I wish, I really, really wish. My IT guy is in the back. He actually has some really great recommendations. He works with a lot of professionals in DE specifically. So he can tell you from the real estate agents that he's worked with over the last 10 years, what database management systems are good for your size team. Because the database system really does apply differently depending on how big your team or how small your team is. So if you're a small team, he has some things that will definitely work. Medium team, I think he has a few that work. Large team, we're working on that right now. I wish we had an awesome answer for you. I wish. All right, guys, I have to unfortunately wrap it or they're going to kill me. So I'll be around for the next 10 minutes. The next one in here is teams. So if you want to hear teams, hang around. Thanks, guys.